Alright guys, this is the next video in the survival series. Last video we just created our attribute UI, put in our health, our stamina, hunger, and thirst. This video we will be giving that stuff functionality. We will have our health regen, stamina regen, our hunger damage, thirst damage, the consequences, in enough time, quick player death, temporary. So yeah, let's get into that. So to start off, I'm going to go down to our player settings, and not under the player, but under the settings itself, I'm going to create an empty, and we're going to call this off player scripts, meaning some scripts will be attached to the player itself, some won't be, so this won't be attached to the player. I'm going to create another empty called, let's see, I guess, health. Yeah, we'll go health regen. Alright, so this will be, let's see, we're going to add a trigger to health regen. Trigger on, I guess, on update maybe. On update, we will go to our stats, change attribute, so the player health, we're going to add 1. Alright, we're going to wait 1 second, and we're going to restart. Instruction. That is it. That's our health regen. Mind you, we will tinker with how much you get per second later on, but this, for now, for showcasing you guys as a quick tutorial, that is our health regen. I'm going to duplicate that. This is going to be our stamina regen. Alright, switch that over to stamina, and that is done. Real fast, let's show you guys how that works. It's going to be super simple. Just going to turn our health and stamina down here, and we will start, and I will show you. So right on the side here, you should be able to see that. It's slowly going up. Alright, and we will have that maybe cancel out. If we're getting attacked, it might turn our health regen off, or if we're using our stamina, it might turn our stamina regen off. So next, we will be getting into hunger and thirst. So it's not going to be as easy as that. It's a little more different, a little more to it. So to begin that, we will, let's see, I'm going to create an empty called hunger damage. I'm going to create an empty under that called drain hunger. And I'm going to create another empty called loop hunger damage. Alright, so I've set 3 things here. Each one of these are going to be a little different. So for the first one, we're going to be adding somewhat of a similar script to these ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, paste it in here. Alright, but instead of adding 1 health a second, we will be going to our hunger and subtracting, and we will just go with 1 hunger a second. Alright, I'm going to turn the loop one off, and for drain hunger we will be adding a trigger, and it's going to be on attribute change. So on attribute hunger change, we will run conditions, add the conditions in, and add the branch. So if stat attribute player hunger value equals 0, then we will set active our health regen to false and set our loop hunger damage to true. Alright, we're going to add another branch. So if player hunger equals greater or equal to 1, then we will set active our loop hunger damage to false and our health regen to true. Okay. Now our loop hunger damage is going to be, we're just going to copy this from the hunger damage, and we're going to paste that, and we're going to switch it from hunger to health. And that is pretty much it for hunger damage, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how that works. And then we're going to go ahead and copy all that for the thirst, but put it under our stamina. So for player, actually I'm going to turn this up just a little higher so we can actually see it. So instead of draining 1 hunger a second, I'm going to drain 10 hunger a second. And after we start starving, this is going to drain 10 health a second, just to showcase you guys. So our health regen is working until now. Now that we're starving, now we are dead. Okay, so that works pretty good. I would like to show you guys, if I were to put my hunger back up, it would cancel all of that out, but I will do that later. We're going to make that cheat menu in our main or pause menu soon. So for now, we're just going to put this back to 1. And put this one back to 1 as well. And put our player stuff back up off the start. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename this stuff a little bit. I'm not going to have hunger in that. And I'm not going to have hunger in this one either. Just so I can copy and paste it. And not have to worry about all the names. So this is going to be thirst damage. And this is going to be on update player thirst. And then drain will be on thirst. If player thirst equals 0, then we will set active stamina regen to false. And this one will be thirst as well. And stamina regen again. And then loop damage, not our health, but our stamina. And that is it. That is some super simple survival mechanics there. And seeing how it's only been 7 minutes so far, this video is pretty short, I will go ahead and let's create some cheat buttons to showcase this. Okay, so let's go to our game UI and our pause menu. So within our pause menu UI, I am going to be creating, I'm basically just going to duplicate this, and we're going to call this cheat menu, and this will go the same with the options menu as well. So cheat menu, and instead of these buttons, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off pause menu now. So cheat menu, I am going to get rid of the bottom 3. The top one is just going to be button, no, hold on, sorry, I'm confused here. Okay, so button, we're gonna have one button. And what is the height? 103, so I'm gonna make the height the same as the width. Okay, I'm gonna move that over here. So these cheat buttons are gonna be like all over the place. This is gonna be button hunger minus. Okay, that text, let's do H minus, so that's how we know it's our hunger. This button is going to stats, change attribute of the player hunger. We're going to subtract it by, say, 20. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that. This will be our hunger plus. Whoops. Alright, and that will be adding, not subtracting. And a quick thing too, so by opening the cheat menu, we have no way of getting back. For one, we have no way of even getting into the cheat menu, so we're going to add that into our button cheat. So this button cheat is going to set active our cheat menu to true, and it's going to set active our pause menu to false. Now, that's going to screw things up a bit because our pause menu false has some triggers on it, as does our cheat menu. So, you know what? I'm just going to change some things here. I'm going to remove these components. I'm going to drag our cheat menu under the pause menu. And I'm going to create an empty under the pause menu as well, called what is this going to be called? Pause menu. I wanted to call this pause menu as well, but hold on a second. Okay, I'm a genius. I'm going to call this one buttons. Ta-da! I'm going to put all these under buttons now. Alright, so now when we press our button cheat, we are going to set our buttons to false and our cheat menu to true. Alright, so it would be that to that. And I'm thinking I will just add this image to our buttons. Now, I don't know where that image went. Come on. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and fix that now. So, buttons. I'm going to take that picture out of the buttons. I'm going to duplicate pause menu. Alright, that's going to go under pause menu again. At the top, this one's going to be called buttons. And we're going to take these triggers off. Okay, now this buttons I'm going to delete. And now pause menu, I'm going to get rid of the image. There we go. Ta-da. So buttons is what? Wait, what's going on here? Okay, so yeah, we're going to move these buttons to the other buttons. God, this is getting confusing. I'm sorry if you can't follow along here. And then cheat menu. There, that's what we want. So that has the background, and that has the background. Okay. Now that that's dealt with, get rid of that cheat menu. So, I did that because I didn't want the pause menu turning off and opening the cheat menu and screwing with our pause game and player movement. So, buttons, cheat button now opens cheat menu to true and buttons to false. Okay. Now when this is off and this is on, we are going to add a trigger here. Trigger on disable. So the only way to disable this is by pressing the escape button again, like how you open the menu in the first place. So on disable, we will be no, we don't need a trigger here, honestly. We're going to do that on the pause menu itself. Sorry if I'm getting confusing here. So on enable, on our menu, we are going to be setting active buttons to true. And cheat menu to false. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and test that. So what I'm testing exactly is opening the cheat menu and then closing it through escape, and it should open, yeah, so it's back to normal. And then drain our hunger a little bit. And I forgot that it's going down by 1, so it takes a little longer. We have no health regen anymore until I eat some food again. There we go. Now my health regen's going back up. I want to make sure all this stuff pauses too when we are in pause mode, so it does, which is good, so we don't have to worry about broken mechanics while the game is paused. That all works. And resumes when we unpause, so that all works. And the same would go with thirst as well. I'm going to go ahead and add the thirst cheat buttons as well. I'm not really going to showcase it in this, but I'm just going to have it there for testing purposes for myself, for later. But if you want to follow along, you can. So that's going to be super easy. It's just going to be a simple copy and paste. And we're just going to rename it Thirst. Alright, and the buttons are going to be turned into T's, or the letters I mean. Doesn't really look like a T, but okay. And we'll change that to Thirst. Alright, so that is it for probably this video for now. Oh, let me see how much time we have here. 17 minutes. I might do a quick player death just to showcase that it will kill you. So let me go ahead and figure this out. Where am I? Okay, cheat menu off, buttons on, turn menu off. Save there. Let's write in a player script under the player settings. I'm going to create an empty called death script. I'm going to create another empty called scripts, because I want all our scripts into one thing, but I want our death script to overpower all of them. So then yeah, so our death script will turn off all these scripts. So I'm going to write a trigger on death script on stat attribute change player health. We will be running conditions and adding those conditions. Drag them up there. Add branch if stat attribute player health value equals 0. Then we will set active our scripts to false. We will enter a state, and I already have some states created here, such as like death animation, stuff like that. So I got a player death state. I got some sitting and sleeping for my main menu characters. But basically, you create a state, add an animation to it. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you don't know how to do that, you just go create, game creator, character, animation state. So if you want your player to die, you put in a death animation under that state. So I'm going to enter that state. I'm also going to make my character not controllable. And let's see. I think that's good there. I'm going to also hit a stop move in case I'm in the middle of moving and I die. I don't want him to finish moving. Whoops. So I'm going to stop moving first, then I'm going to take away my controls, or no, take away my controls, then stop moving, then play the death animation, turn off my scripts. Okay, let's go ahead and try that. It's going to take a really long time. Actually, I'm going to turn my player health down to next to nothing, and then starve myself right off to start with the cheat menu before my regen builds that back up. Cheat menu. There we go. See if it works when I'm moving. There we go. Now I'm dead because I starved to death. And that is it. Now, there will cause some issues there because we haven't gotten into that further, but, you know, you don't want to restart your game after you've starved to death with 0 health and 0 hunger and have it loop your death every time you load up. So we'll fix that later on down the road, but as of right now, that might happen. So, yeah, we'll get into that once we actually make the real death script. That's just a quick temporary death script. So that is it for this video. That is functioning. We have our menus, and I'll think of something to start for the next video, because at this point we can pretty much go anywhere with this. We've caught up to everything we started working on, so I will see you guys soon and we will figure that out. Oh, and I forgot to add these icons here. How much time do we got? Yeah, okay, so I got some icons I want to put in here real fast. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my UI, attributes, and let's see, I'm going to go right under, I'm just going to add an empty in here called icons. And then I'm going to create a UI image. This will be our starve, or icon starve, or hunger, I mean. And I'm going to go find a picture for that real fast. Actually, I know where it is, at the bottom here. It's a picture of a stomach somewhere. There it is. Let's go ahead and move that up here. Maybe make it red. Maybe a darker red with a little bit of transparency. So that's going to pop up when we are hungry. Alright. And then I'm going to copy that. Slide that over. This will be our thirst icon. So I'm going to go ahead and type in bottle. Okay. Icon thirst. And I'm going to do one more for stamina. And this is going to be like a little lightning bolt of some sorts. This one's a little trickier to find here. There it is. Okay, so our player will be, like, this stuff will be popping up by every time our player reaches a certain point. I don't know why that bolt's bigger, but anyway, so I'm going to shut these all off by default. And under our stamina, I'm going to write a trigger. Trigger on attribute change player stamina. We will run conditions. Add those conditions in. And that will be if stat compare attribute player stamina value equals less or equal to, say, 20 or 30. We'll go with 30. Then we will set active our stamina icon to true. Branch that. If player stamina is greater or equal to 31, we will set our stamina icon to false. And that is done. Go ahead and copy and paste that. Now to our thirst UI. And copy and paste those conditions. Make sure you drag those conditions there. And on attribute change thirst. Okay, and then if thirst equals less than 30, set the thirst icon to true. And if thirst is over 31, set the thirst icon to false. One more time now for hunger. So on hunger, we will run conditions and slide the conditions up again and change all this to hunger. Alright, so that should be good, and I will showcase this to you guys here in a second. Okay, so hunger, hunger icon, hunger, hunger icon, hunger, hunger, hunger. Okay, we are good. And I will show you guys that with my hunger cheat button. Alright, so see how that goes up. And also my stamina is draining now because I'm thirsty. And let's put our hunger back up, thirst back up. It's not quite 30, so there we go. And yeah, that is it. That is player attributes with the UI. Hopefully it works for you guys. Good luck, and see you in the next one.